This is the untold story of Iron Energy Gym. Now I want to preface this video by saying that this is my truth. This is my interpretation of the truth. This is my interpretation of the situation, but I'm going to explain how Iron Energy came to be from the Brian Mark perspective so you guys can really get to know who I am as a person and who I am as a leader. So I'm going to start this off by saying I didn't even want to buy the gym. It wasn't my vision. It wasn't my intention. One of my clients reached out to me and was like, listen, B, had one of my partners drop out of a deal that I'm doing. We're buying a gym and I just wanted to run it by you. Like, would you be interested in purchasing the gym? And right away, my first instinct was yes. But I was like, I need to back off for a second because if I'm going to do something this big, I want to do it with my business partner. So the only way that I'm going to do it is if we can bring Cole on board. And so he was like, yeah, let's bring Cole on board. So I called Cole. I'm like, bro, do you want to buy a gym? And he's like, fucking pardon? I was like, do you want to buy a gym? Like, how would you feel about purchasing a gym? He's like, well, which gym? And I told him at the time it was Gravity Fitness. And he's like, well, that sounds good, but I need to know more details, etc. I'm like, well, pretty much the way that it's going to work is we have about 24 hours to make a decision because homie is potentially looking at other partners. So I'm in, I'm going to do it. Are you in with me? He was like, fuck it, let's do it. And just like that, I became a gym owner. Now, the thing is, I became the gym owner thinking that I was going to be a silent partner. And that's actually what I said. Well, that didn't really work out because I have a very obsessive personality. So I went from being the silent partner to like the number one marketer for the social media account. And it quickly consumed me. We tore down the walls, we renovated the gym, we got all brand new equipment. And just like that, I was full-time running two businesses, PT Domination, which is my online business, and Iron Energy Gym.
It's coming together nicely. As you can see, watch this. This used to be a wall. This gym is like transforming so rapidly. We're just moving fast. These walls are already painted. We're moving the entire upstairs. Like, it's just like, it's coming together, man.
Honestly, at fun, it was a new venture. It was me, Cole, and three other partners. A lot of people asked us, they're like, yo, how do you guys feel about having so many cooks in the kitchen? And at first, it wasn't an issue. Over the course of 3, 6, 9, 12 months, it starts to become an issue. People have conflicting opinions about how things move forward. And because of that, a lot of the progress that we wanted to make at the gym was stalled because different people would have different opinions about what we should or shouldn't do with the gym. Running Iron Energy Gym was actually easy until the pandemic hit.
Concerns about the deadly coronavirus officially hitting the U.S. Here's what we know.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. It is now official. Canada has its first confirmed case of the new strain of coronavirus.
Indoor gyms and fitness centers will be closed.
And that's when it became hard. And, when adversity strikes, that's when you really find out like what you're made of.
At some point, we all need to stand up and say enough is enough. So that's what we're doing here. We're standing up. And even if they're trying to make an example out of us, they're going to have to drag me out of here in cuffs if they want to get me out of my gym because we are staying open.
And so when the pandemic hit, it was hard because when the gyms got closed, we, all 5 of the owners, had to make a decision. Do we want to stay open or do we want to close? Because we were ordered to close and we decided to stay open.
The owners of the gym were served a $2,500 fine and ordered on paper to close yet again. But the gym remains defiant.
Now, we all knew that staying open meant defying the government, and we knew that that was going to come with repercussions. However, we as a collective, we as an ownership team decided that we were going to stay open. And not only did we decide that we were going to stay open, but we also decided that we were going to get loud and we were going to be boisterous and we were going to voice our opinion on social media. And we decided we basically weren't going to be fucking sheep.
Guys, they're closing us. What do you guys think? Fighting for the community. We're the only people fighting for the community. Everybody needs to stand up. That's how we do it. Everybody watching, this is enough. We need to stand up.
This man is a legend, standing up for what we fight for.
It's because this is Canada, and I stand for freedom. I stand for my community. I stand for mental health, and I will not be silenced.
So when we got closed, Cole actually lived in Calgary at the time, and my other partners weren't in the city, they were in Mexico, so it was just me. So I was manning the gym while my partners were in Mexico, Cole was in Calgary, and basically, I ended up being the face of it because I was here when all the stuff happened. I was here when the cops came. I was here when we had the riot against the cops. I was here when the videos started going viral. Like, a lot of it was me at first, so I ended up becoming like the face of this like movement against the government. Everybody was on board. Everybody was excited about it. And when we would meet as a team, I basically said, I was like, guys, I can't contain myself. Like, if I'm either all in or I can't do it because I can't quiet my opinion. So it's either I'm in and I'm being loud or I'm not in at all. And at the time, everybody was on board. Everybody was like, go for it. Like, say what you want, do what you want, like, voice your opinion. Like, we're all behind it. We all got you. Like, we're going to do this together. And then shit started to get real. And when I say shit started to get real, we started getting traffic tickets. $345 every single day for 21 days straight ended up being $7,000. We were like, you know what? We're going to fight it off. It's all good. Then we get a $2,300 ticket. We're like, you know what? We're going to fight it off. It's all good. Then the lawyer bills start coming in.
We got served with a closure order. The lawyer I just talked to on the phone told us that if we're going to war with the government, it's going to be like it's going to be $100,000 fight just to start.
Then stuff starts getting tense. And then we started having discussions as an ownership team, and the discussions went a little bit like this. You know, we should just back off. We should just start complying. We should just wear the mask. If we wear the masks and we comply, then we can open the doors again and we can get back in. Me, I didn't like that idea. In fact, I had just spent months and months and months fighting against it, so I was unwilling to comply. I was unwilling to bend the knee, and I was unwilling to just like open our doors and make our members wear masks again, just so that we could open again. Like, that didn't sit well with me. Once shit started to get real with the government, that's when the divide started to happen. And the divide was between the owners. And the divide was, we don't necessarily agree with what you're doing anymore, B, and we want you to stop. And for me, I was like, I've already committed to this, and I've already been talking about it, and I've already been open to it, and I'm not gonna bend or change my opinion because stuff gets hard. And so there was a divide. And this divide was, it started to become obvious, you know? The conversations between the owners started to get like more heated. It started to get harder for us to communicate with each other. It started to get harder for us to make decisions together. Until at one moment, at one time, there was a meeting called, and when the meeting was called, the owners meeting was called for Iron Energy, I was placed with a decision. The decision that I was faced with was this. It was me and Cole came to the meeting, and then it was the other owners. And the other owners that basically said, listen, B, like, we are no longer aligned with the gym, and we are going to sell our shares. And we're out. And this was, you know, at the time, I had 25%, Cole had 25%, and there was 25% in a couple, and there was 25% in one of our owners. And they're like, we're out. And so you can buy the shares. We're going to give you the opportunity to buy the shares. And if you don't buy the shares, we're going to sell them to somebody else. I could like to feel my heart sinking in my chest when this happened, because I knew, like, I just fucking spent the last 6 months fighting for this idea, fighting for Free BC, fighting for this movement, fighting for this like ideology that I stood so strong behind. And now I was, you know, faced with this like decision. And the decision was, I either sell my shares of the gym, the thing that I've been fucking fighting for so long because we've got quarter to the show. I either sell my shares or I buy my partners out. And I didn't know what to do, honestly. Like I was kind of fucking lost. And the meeting ended. It was about 30 minutes. There was a lot of emotions involved in that meeting. Christy was there. Christy ended up crying. Our general manager, love that girl to death, called Cole after. I'm like, bro, what do we do? And this is where Cole's like, I got to be honest with you, B, like, I cannot financially commit to buying the shares. He's like, I just bought the house. He's like, I'm like not, like, I can't commit to buying the shares. And he's like, so I'm out. So here I am now. And I'm like, well, that means I have to buy 50% of the shares in order for me to keep the gym. And I'm like, I don't, like, number one, I just got in the house and I was like, I don't want to put all of my fucking eggs in this basket. Because guys, at the time, like, when my partners wanted to sell, we were still court ordered to close, which means that like our rent cost like 25 grand a month, utilities, gas, etc. Plus I was paying 2 staff members to be on board because I didn't want them to be without work. And so, you know, I was losing about 40 grand a month already just with the gym being open. And I'm like, I could literally buy the shares from these kids. And then a few months later, like, it could just be out. I would just be fucked. So like there was a big risk, because the big risk was that like we were court ordered to shut for 6 months, and there was a chance that we might not be open again because the government was trying to get us shut forever. So I had to make a decision. I'm like, I either buy the shares or I sell the gym. And honestly, like those couple days for me were like super fucking hard. I remember not being able to sleep. I remember feeling sick to my stomach. Just thinking about it right now. So I ended up talking to my partners and I said, listen, like I don't want to give you, I'm not willing to give you every dollar that I have in my bank to buy this gym. I'm potentially interested in buying the shares, but like I can't do a big upfront investment. Like I'm not gonna put down all of my money. Like this wasn't even my dream in the first place. This was like, here guys, And they basically said, listen, what we'll do is we'll work out a payment arrangement. So over the course of 18 months, it's $40,000 a month. So I end up spending about $750,000 to buy the shares. And I just made the decision that I was going to do it.
So I just committed to owning 75% of the shares of Iron Energy Gym.
Now, don't get me wrong. PT Nomination, my online coaching business, makes a lot of money. Like if you guys follow me on social media, you'll see like we make between $700,000 to $900,000 a month. However, it's not like all that money is mine. I still have to run my business. I got expenses, got payroll, etc. And so $40,000 a month is not a small amount of money for anybody, right? And even though, you know, my take home is very good, like $40,000 a month is still a big paycheck. Plus I've got my mortgage, plus I got my fucking wife I want to take care of, plus I got my family I want to take care of. So like literally for the first 6 to 12 months after my partners left, even to this day, like I would say for the first 6 months, like I was under so much pressure that I like had a hard time sleeping. I had a hard time eating because I was just like $40,000 every single month. And it like that to me was just like such a fucking big deal. It was such a big commitment. And there was such a huge risk of failure that I felt like the weight of the world was on my shoulders and I like didn't think that I was going to be able to pull through. Once I made the commitment to buy the gym, I also made the commitment, I'm like, okay, if I'm going to buy this gym, I'm going to make this gym the best gym in Canada. So I went out and I hired a mentor, Bedros Keuilian, who ended up costing me $100,000 USD to hire. But the reason I hired Bedros is he has 700 gyms, so obviously he can teach me how to make mine better. So I went out, I hired Bedros. The investment started and I started sending money to my partners on a monthly basis for the gym. It was like basically a payment plan to buy out the shares. And now we're in the process of transforming this gym from the Iron Energy that it started as to the Iron Energy that me and Cole see it as. I'll be honest, you guys, like I didn't intend to even be a gym owner. I definitely didn't intend to be this gym owner. But I just fell in love with it. Like when me and Kirsch talked about like whether or not I was going to buy the shares, for me, it like, even though it was uncomfortable for me to make the commitment to like spend $750,000 and send 40 grand a month to people for the gym, I'm like, I also like believed in it so much and I still believe in it to this day. And I just believe that what we're doing, what we're creating is such a special environment for so many people. And even the amount of people, like even right now, it's a Saturday afternoon and the amount of like 15 to 18-year-old kids that are in here working out instead of going out and partying is like what I live for. And like there's like no shade towards my old partners. It's just like, I wasn't expecting this level of commitment. I wasn't expecting to take this on myself. And it was a lot of fucking pressure for me to take on myself. And I did feel like this wasn't even my dream to begin with. And I kind of got like, just straight up, like my stories, I got left with it. That's how I feel. That's how I felt. And then I decided to step in and just become the owner that I know that I can be. So I think that for me, the lessons from this like experience, number one is, if you've been to the gym lately, you've experienced the changes that we're making. It took me a long time for me to actually like step into my power and like own the fact that like I was the 75% shareholder. I also was like in financial scarcity because I was like spending $40,000 a month sending it to my partners. I was like, I need to pinch pennies in every part of the gym. But then I realized, I'm like, that's not the vision, right? The vision is to make it the best gym in Canada. So as you guys can see, we're not pinching pennies anymore. Like we're renovating the gym. We're making it better. We're upgrading the equipment. We're like upgrading the systems inside the gym. We're like making everything just like a better environment to be in overall. We're getting involved in the community. We're giving back to the community. We're like donating money to charity. Like that really is the purpose of the gym. And that's why we started in the first place. And my intention is just to show you guys. Like I just want to show you. So when you come to the gym, you experience it for yourself. I want to show you what an owner looks like, what owners, me and Cole, look like that actually care about the gym, that are actually willing to back their word, that are actually willing to stand up for what they believe in, and that are actually unwilling to bend the knee when it gets hard, because that's what I believe that we are. It's like we stood strong. And we stood strong and we like stuck it out. And now the community that we have in the gym is fucking unmatched. So that's the untold story of Iron Energy. And again, like when there's a story, there's always going to be two sides to every story. And I'm completely aware of that, but this is my truth. And as the owner of the gym and the one that's still standing here, what I can say is like, this gym to me is, it represents commitment. This gym to me represents integrity. This gym to me represents that like I made a promise to the community that I was gonna stand up and fucking stand up for what I believe in and not bend a knee and fucking back out when it gets hard. And so that's what I'm doing. It might take 1 year, it might take 2 years, it might take 5 years, but I promise you, Iron Energy Gym will be known across the nation.
And it already is.
It already is. But I'm not
on a higher scale.
I'm not
done. Yeah, I agree.
I'm done.
I'm not fucking done.
All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'd love to know what your thoughts are in the comments about this YouTube, about this experience, about the situation. And yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Have the best day of your entire life and chase your motherfucking dreams. Peace.